Hi, it's Joy, and today we're watching Squid Game Season 3, Episode 4, 222. Very concerned for player 222 and Jihan. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and let's go.
부대 둘 다 X 누르고 상금 가지고 여기서 나가는 거야. 227억씩. 너서 막아.
God, is he gonna have to push him off? Because he needs to get back over there to get to 222. I do think being in this kind of space, in this kind of experiment and place, it warps your perspective, it warps your understanding, and like, you can act, I mean, obviously you're still acting in a way that you have inside you, because all of us have a version of darkness inside us. But I think the longer you're in this kind of environment, where they haven't seen the outside world, they've been in these four walls, they've people with guns, people dying around them, your morality gets warped. And obviously some people are more capable of being warped than others. And like, this guy probably would have said before he got here that he would never be in this position ever, but being here has slowly eroded who he is, and that is what it's designed to do. Fucking hell.
대가리 안 돌아가? 너랑 나랑 그 돈 다 먹는 거라고.
Think about who you're dealing with here. See, you are a good man. Practice jumping. See if you can jump with her on your back. I know you never have to have anything to do with this man again, but if he can help you, let him. I didn't even think about it that way. But she gave him the knife. Yeah. Oh, he doesn't know how injured she is. He's blind. What's her name, sweetheart? Stupid little man. Fucking hell. Every single one of you with a fucking circle on your chest, think about your choices. Sweetheart, what are you doing? You can't try it on your own. My God. I knew this would happen.
아저씨까지 잘못되면 아이도 죽어요. 아저씨가 그랬잖아요. 제 아이
수지야.
Can never save the people he wants to save. Knew she wasn't gonna make it. She has no idea what she's just lost. What's he gonna do? Oh, lovely. So this guy's definitely not surviving. She maybe will survive to help wreak revenge, but just please tell me this baby makes it out. And him, ideally. Do what you can to protect the baby and honor Jeonhee's wishes and stay the fuck away from it otherwise.
이번 투표에서 말이지.
Should have read the previous votes. Are they going to be mad because the baby counts so they don't have 5.6, they've got slightly less? Literally, they were like, how can we make Squid Game even more despicable? Take your 4.9 billion for fuck's sake.
돈도 물려받는다는 겁니까? 49억을?
Yeah. Its mother is dead, so fuck you all.
그 돈을 벌었는데 저 애새끼는 갑자기 나타나서 참가자가 되고
Baby's been here the whole time,
우리랑 똑같이
actually.
상금을 나눠 갖는
조비는 밖에 있는 내 애새끼들한테 저 돈 상속해 줄 거냐고.
Are your kids here?
안 그래요?
그래 맞아 탈락 맞아
You are monsters. This has brought out the actual worst in you. Can't fight them all. Even the father helping can't fight them all. The biological father.
똑같이 뒤지기 싫으면 돼.
참가자들 사이에 물리적 폭력
Oh, lovely.
용납하지 않겠습니다.
범죄단체 조직원이라고요 아 여기 증거도 다 있잖아요 이게 그 조직원들이 쓰는
Mention Junho.
한국 가서 애들 게임을 시키고 죽인다니까요
Mention the detective that knows about this. That they might not be able to phone him, but sure there's some record that he was looking into this. Detective.
그 섬을 열심히
With the
찾는
detective.
중인데 그걸
Ex-detective,
찾으면
but
바로
still.
이름, 나이, 주소, 직장 뭐 그런 거.
You know a former detective who was working on this.
하려 하시더만. 납치, 감금.
Mention your friend who used to be a detective and was investigating this. I know I'm repeating myself.
내 생각엔 이쪽은 아닐 거야. 그래서 굳이 그 게임 할 리가 없잖아.
So that's where we have to look.
그럼 날이 박는 대로 이쪽 섬들을
No, remember the fishiness of the man.
그럼 우리가 남쪽을 네.
Remember, he's fishier than fish itself that are on this boat normally.
어이 소영사.
I mean, you know from that he hasn't heard from him. Answered.
노출됐어.
지금 그 배 안에 있는 놈들 다 죽여.
Mhm.
확인.
Yes, this is very, very bad. But you have a red X over where you need to go if you can survive this. Okay, you got the information out that you need.
분들이 직접 탈락자를 결정하실 수 있는 게임입니다.
Jesus.
뭐? 3명만 탈락시키면 된다는 거예요?
It
그렇습니다.
could be you. It's still not worth
최소
it.
3명만 탈락습니다. 마지막 게임의 탈락자는 전적으로
I mean,
여러분 손에
The arrogance
달려
to assume it
있습니다.
won't be you.
여러분 중에 최소 3명만 탈락시키면 나머지 6명은 최종
Because I could
우승자가
see the lot on the top and the bottom there voting to eliminate Jihan, the baby, and the other dude. Because the other dude hasn't really made any friends. No one likes Jihan, and they all were just literally trying to murder the baby 5 minutes ago. But there's no guarantee that the rest of them on the top and the bottom won't then say, throw him in, him in the corner, add him to the mix. Just vote to leave. The baby votes to leave, okay? It's not abstaining, it's voting to leave.
353번 투표해
Use
주세요.
your brains, people. Who's to say they're not going to vote you to leave? To die, sorry. Thing is, this is the kind of situation where the worst people out of the group are more likely to survive. The worst people in the world
333번
tend to make the biggest impact in a lot of ways because they make the loudest, splashiest impact. But it doesn't actually mean there are more of them. And that's something I have to believe, or else what's the point of being alive on this earth? If you vote to stay, fuck you. More so than anybody else. Fuck you. You literally have a child here. And like, sure, its mother said, we don't want anything to do with you. But if you get out of here, you've got every legal right to claim that fucking baby if you want it.
125번
When you're all dead, you're gonna fucking regret this. The baby voted to leave, actually, I'll have you know. On her chest, can't you see? What would they actually do at this point if they did vote to leave? Because the VIPs would be pissed off. Because if they were pissed, they'd be drunk, which they also are.
원래부터 동감이에요.
Yeah, don't pick me to die. That's the ruling from the baby's father voted to stay, right? Because he...
45명이 찬성하였으므로
Is it like...
마지막
so sorry, sneezing. Is it that he realised the vote to stay would win? So now he's on the right side. He's on the side of people who they won't pick him. They might pick other people to die instead of him. But the question is now when it gets to it, is he going to try and save his baby? Is he going to try and say, well, don't kill the baby. It's a baby. You don't want to kill the baby. Kill him instead. Like, is he going to try and save his kid? Can you call back to land? Call the police?
그게 정말 그 섬을 저지르는 이유입니까?
Be guess. He's never told anyone about his brother. Should have done. Are they gonna run into him when they're fleeing?
76억.
He's like, damn it, I need 10.
그러니까 안개가 걷히기 전에 섬에서 멀리 달아나야 돼.
Listen to her, call the police, tell them where you are about this island. And your daughter most importantly, but well, for you most importantly. Of course they've got a tracker on the boat. Should try and sleep. They're not allowed to kill anyone tonight.
그분이 부르셔.
Oh, lovely. Bestie's having a chat.
먼 인간들이 그 아이를 죽이는 꼴을 두 눈으로 보고 싶어서.
You're repulsive,
난
eyes.
지금 너와 아이를 도우려는 거야.
네가 우리를 돕는다고.
Does he actually care about him? You became friends, okay?
이 칼 가지고 숙소로 돌아가 아이를 죽이려는
Fucking
그
hell.
쓰레기들을 죽여. 다들 먹고 마시고 취해서
So not actually helping him.
한 놈씩 저도 모를 거야.
Proving your own point, which isn't proving your own point, but thinking you're proving your own point. He's gonna reveal himself. Yeah. Can't trust anyone in here. Your best friends are always the ones behind it.
정배 씨 일은 유감입니다.
Do you know?
날 죽이고 싶나?
You're more guilty than the men in there.
여기 너 다음 게임은 두 사람만으로는 할 수 없는 게임이야. 그럼 정해진 규칙에 따라서 게임은 여기서 중단이다.
I don't buy that for a second. I think they'd make him go up against the baby in the final game and like he'd have to sacrifice himself. Just wants him to lose more of
내
himself,
이름은 너와 아이를 죽이려고 달려.
to see things through his
먼저
worldview,
그놈들을 죽여.
not the worldview he came here with.
지금 너한텐 그게 최선의 선택이야.
Sort of the only choice you're offering him, unless it's letting a baby and himself die. But it's not actually a choice, is it?
아직도 사람을 믿나?
Yes, actually. I do. I understand if he might not because you've broken him intentionally. I do, in fact, still have faith in people as a result of this. In this essay, I will argue that if you take people who are already extremely vulnerable and in desperate circumstances and you put them into an even more desperate and extreme situation such as this, and you take away their autonomy and their rights, but you give them a weird false version of said autonomy and rights, but they're not really getting those rights. And then you slowly but surely normalize the concept of people dying around them. You normalize it. Yeah, it's fine, you're getting the money. And you make it so that they slowly lose whatever morality they had. They are going to become the worst versions of themselves. Now, I think in this case, looking at the people who have survived thus far, I'd say it's 50-50 between the worst people who were here in the first place, the people who were the most despicable in the real world, and people who have sort of made it this far and A, want to stay alive and so don't want to piss off the scary ones, and B, are losing themselves to this place. But this is showing the worst side of humanity. No one is going to say humanity doesn't possess that side because look at all the fucking human history. But the reason I still have faith in humanity is that Jihan exists and despite everything he's been through, cares about this baby and wants to try and save it. The fact that Junhee put her baby before herself. She didn't try to say, "Yeah, come back and get me. We'll both die and then fuck the baby. I don't care. Save me." The fact that Mrs. Jang tried to make sure everyone else was okay and then couldn't live with herself because of what she had done in trying to save that young woman's life. These are all acts of good people in desperate circumstances who did not let the desperation of their circumstances bring out the worst in them, the most selfish in them. And then if you think about, not again, I'm not trying to argue the deserving and undeserving poor, but people who have ended up in super desperate situation of debt, the ones who have made it this far are the most ruthless ones out of that circumstance. First of all, the ones that said yes to the scenario in the first place, and maybe the ones who are more likely to be willing to partake in this. Just, I don't know, the braver ones or even the more reckless ones. And then the better people haven't made it as far necessarily because they've worried about looking out for each other. You know, we'd still have, I can't remember her name, but the woman who died, she protected them all and then she found the X, it didn't go through. She would still be alive right now if she had done the selfish thing, but she didn't. And unfortunately, we live in a world that doesn't reward the goodness in people. That is the capitalistic world we live in. It rewards the selfish bastards who rise to top. That's why I despise capitalism and want it to end. But the world we live in today doesn't benefit the good people. Something I said, I think, during the reaction, or at least I definitely thought it during the reaction, is it's so easy to look at the world and assume there are more bad people than good. But I refuse to believe that. The bad people just make the most noise. They make the loudest noise. You know, when a good person does a good thing, they don't crow about it to everybody. They don't make it everybody else's business. They've just done their good thing. But unfortunately, in the nature of that selfish person is to grasp at power and to grasp at adulation and to become the one that everyone knows about. Whereas truly good people, there aren't many politicians who are truly good people because they don't have that same drive. And when you have some, like Jeremy Corbyn, under whom this country would actually be a fucking better place to live instead of the fucking mess we're in now, they don't get in because the selfish people stop them and lie about them and propagandize about them. Going slightly off track here, but basically to answer you, stupid little Mr. Frontman, yes, I do still have faith in people. And if Jihan currently doesn't, that isn't because you have actually proved him wrong. It is because you have psychologically tortured him in a way specifically designed to whittle away at that belief he had. You had old, was it Ilnam, old stupid player one, who I was on to from the start. My one claim to genius. His whole dying thing of, see, there's a homeless man and he's going to freeze to death. No one's going to help. And someone helped him. Okay? There are a lot of bad people in the world. There are a lot of people that the world and circumstance drives into a bad place. You know, if you have the same person in two different timelines, timeline one, you give them a stable, happy home with loving parents and siblings and a lot of money, enough money to live comfortably, to never worry about money. Yes, they might end up making greedy choices, but they are more likely to be able to make a plethora of choices. And then you put that same person in another timeline, you give them zero money, you make it so that maybe their parents have died in a car crash or something, you know, like they don't have the same loving parental support that they could have done in this timeline. They are scrabbling for every penny. They have this desire to be a good person, but there are no avenues to them, and the only avenues to them are extreme suffering or going down a bad path. They are more likely to choose to go down the bad path, not because they are a bad person, but because life has not given them the chances. And so when you take a person of who knows what morals and put them in the fucking Squid Game, they're probably not going to be squeaky clean and little saint angels walking around all the time. That's not how humanity works. It's not how any creature works. But it doesn't mean people are bad. So the front man can fuck himself. I would like clarification though on whether when Captain Park was supposed to kill everybody, he was also supposed to kill Junho, right? Like every single person there was supposed to die. Because he just said kill them all. He didn't say, but not my brother. But maybe there was a standing order to like bring his brother to him. But that, again, I think at this point he wants his brother dead because he's kept him alive as long as he can, but his brother's causing too much trouble and the organization won't be happy if they know he kept him alive, is why I assume he wants him dead. Then we have red. Those jumpsuits look red to me. I'm sorry, maybe I'm colorblind. The red triangle lady, she's back to cause mayhem to try and stop them going after. She is such an interesting person, and I kind of wish we'd spent more time understanding her, because I don't really know what motivates her. Like last season, I was like, fuck this woman. You know, I think they're doing a really good example of showing us that we could be really sympathetic towards people in this scenario, and then we remember what they're actually doing. I still do think that. I still don't think she's a good person. But she is another example of a person in desperate circumstances who has previously been trained to be a killer in the army, and now is being presented with the only way to try and survive, to get her family back, to help this man and his daughter in the long run. Like here, it's in a way, I think, a good way of showing that you don't have to be a despicable person to end up making despicable choices and just following orders. Interesting to see what she does and where she goes with this. Interesting to see how Jun-ho manages to get by with all of this, and to see what Ji-hun does. Because also, I know they're asleep. He's one man with a knife. If they wake up, they can still overpower him. And does he have to kill, like, he was like, kill all of the people that want to kill the baby? The dude that's on him having withdrawal symptoms doesn't even know what's going on right now. He doesn't want to kill the baby. He voted to leave. And like in this situation, it's once again an example of the false autonomy, the false democracy, the false giving people a say. You know, the front man has said to Ji-hun, tomorrow, you and that sweet innocent baby whose mother died so you would protect it will be killed by these men. Or you can kill them tonight. Choose. That isn't a choice. Like, yes, maybe he can choose to just, I'm gonna not die, maybe these people, like, you know, he can choose to not do it, but at the end of the day, that isn't a choice he's giving him. That is a ultimatum. And it is ridiculous because it is a scenario where this man could put a stop to all of this. He could declare that actually the baby is not a part of the games, but taking the baby out of the games. Wouldn't that be interesting, actually, then, psychologically? Because those 6 have already decided they're sacrificing the 3 over there. You take the baby out of the mix, they've got to turn on one of themselves. You know, there is even a way he could sell that to the stupid VIPs. Fuck the VIPs. They are an example, yet again, of capitalism. And every single person who went to Jeff Bezos' wedding would be sat there. Down with capitalism, eat the rich. But he could stop this. He could stop all of this. He could alert the authorities to what's going on. There are 1,000 things this man could do that aren't ordering his brother's execution and giving Ji-hun this false choice. But he is so fucked up in his own head and believes this nonsense he's peddling. But it's not a choice. And in the same way that from the very beginning, the whole illusion of, well, you can choose to leave the games and get a bit of the money or stay isn't a choice. Because these people are here because the debts they were facing, the situation they were in was so unlivable, they were willing to take this crazy gamble and come to this place. It's not an actual choice. But presenting it as, oh, we're giving these people the choice. You're not. You are literally not giving them a choice. They do not have a choice in this scenario. You possess enough money to simply help these people, wipe out their debts, and give them, if they need it, assistance with, you know, rehab to break their gambling addiction, or, you know, like a job. Like, you could actually do good and help these people. These rich bored fucks could instead devote their time and money to helping people, but instead they're just bored. So yeah, I feel very strongly about this show. 2 episodes left. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, edited version 1 week in advance, and thank you so much for watching.